You know what lights you up and brings you joy at this point in your life. And you know that sometimes you have to set an intention to put aside the time to do that which is going to raise your vibration. You know that at times you can make a decision to go with the thing that is more responsible for you to do in terms of action taken. And you also know that if you have faith, if you trust in the laws of the universe, then doing that which brings you the most joy is in fact the most fruitful action to take. Source is sending massive amounts of light in various ways to our planet and throughout our galaxy to undo what mankind has unwisely done via disharmonious thoughts, feelings, words, and actions, all of which have atomic particles that can manifest as material experiences. In other words, all of these aspects of humanity constitute a level of consciousness. To reiterate previous information, Source has created a system whereby, even though humanity has been given free will, when that free will is activated in ways that are harmful to the planet and to the righteous who live on her, certain energetics are allowed to occur to shine light upon what needs correcting, to offer guidance and to heal and protect the righteous. However, people must choose righteousness. Now we know that our current local universe is the third that 14D Absolute has created, being then a tot in the Source's hierarchy. The previous two were unsuccessful and ceased to exist. To start the third, Absolute singled out a primary undifferentiated light from self, which the Pleroma's number one hierarch had to divide into masculine and feminine foundations, charged with positive and negative energies. It was necessary to create a dipole magnet and, through this bipolar attractor, give birth to worlds and life in lower dimensions. At this point on your spiritual journey, you have probably heard us and others like us saying that you need to follow your heart. You do have internal guidance, and internal guidance is always there. You are more likely to feel that guidance and know what that guidance is telling you when meditating on a regular basis. So you could put at the very top of your priority list, number 1, meditate. Number 2, wait for inspiration. And number 3, act on that inspiration. You need to have faith and to trust in order to follow through with number 3. It doesn't always come easy to you because of how many people there are telling you that you should be doing this and you shouldn't be doing that, and you have to be responsible. And of course, those people are living their own self-fulfilling prophecies. They might be safe and they might be getting by, but they always look a bit tired, a bit worn out, and you want to do that which gives you energy. Instead, there is a price to pay, a consequence to experience. When those consequences become such that innocent people are caught up in the chaos of them, then there is more planetary upheaval in the form of storms, tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, floods, strange temperature changes, volcanic eruptions, and not allowing technology to properly work as mankind intends for it to do. This forces a paying of attention to divine laws. Remember the biblical verse, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." We are entering the era of Yuga. It is not coming without major cosmic happenings. Many more people are due to awaken in Yuga in both intellectual and spiritual ways. There will still be others, however, who will be incapable of awakening by their own choosing, either consciously or unconsciously. As you celebrate the new year this evening, think about humanity's future. During the festivities, someone should guide the guests in prayer. Perhaps the announcement of prayer time could be the biblical verse, "Be still and know that I am God." Today we comprehend why, during the splitting of the Absolute's light, instead of making a dipole, the Supreme Hierarch created two male highest beings, Christ and his elder twin, who were not opposed in energy, but identical. Mistakes are impossible at that level, and as it turned out later, this was the decision of the Absolute. Like the Source, it wanted to know itself through its own creatures. In any case, the cosmic law of free will and choice freedom was not violated. Yes, it has complicated our incarnation on Earth. The violation of the polarities principle led to the fact that the original reference formula of the local universe unity of opposites was replaced by unity and struggle of opposites. In lieu of a magnet, an explosive mixture appeared that caused a systemic break in the universe's core and the pleroma schism. Disclosure News many times described how it went. By Absolute's request, Christ was assigned to create a perfect man, and his elder brother the worlds to host them. To complete the task, both received the feminine half, becoming dipoles. Christ's results were so ideal that they surpassed him. This became the reason for his brother's jealousy, which turned into hatred, and then into the betrayal of Pleroma and an endless chain of consequences for the entire local universe and Earth. People often ask Daniel here if channeling so much is exhausting for him, and he always tells them that it's the opposite. He gets more energy from doing this than from doing just about anything else. You know what those things are for you, and maybe you need to make a list to remind you during those times when you are not feeling inspired, when you are feeling a bit disconnected or down in the dumps. And you can have that list on your phone or in your wallet or taped to your computer screen. Remind yourself of what gives you energy, what lights you up, what brings you a state of joy, because nothing is more important than your vibration, and your vibration is something that is always within your control. Circumstances, not so much, but your vibration you can shift, and when you trust in this law of vibration, you can absolutely see the results of trusting and following your bliss. Being in the flow means things happen easily for you. Things fall into your lap, helpers show up, and you don't have as many things on your things to do today list. You will have more faith and more trust when you put what we are saying to the test, and every single one of you can, no matter what you might think to be the case. Prove to yourselves that what we are saying works, and you will lead a happier life. Even now, as you finish reading this, bow your head, take a deep breath, and in your own way, ask Source to bless all creation. One of the coronal mass ejections has arrived as of early this afternoon. As earlier reported, intensified cosmic events will occur to Earth and creation. The second is now quickly heading to Earth. The planetary magnetosphere is now completely being pressured with dense ionizing particle plasma, most of which is from deep space as protons. Energetics will increase over the next several days, requiring that close attention be paid to grounding practices. But they were very valuable to the Absolute, who wanted to see how we would behave in conditions of bipolarity and duality, that is, in separation from the Source. Will we perceive selves not as its part, but as a completely independent beings? In other dimensions, such phenomena don't exist, and entities there always feel their close and inseparable connection with one. Regretfully, even some highest light hierarchs couldn't meet this self-challenge. This manifested itself in the betrayal of the Christ's elder brother, who began to build his anti-pleroma, anti-universe and its dark civilizations, while his twin expanded his light eons and worlds. Thus began the confrontation and struggle of light and dark. The Absolute observed the developments, drew conclusions, and knowing self through everything that was happening in its local universe. Both forces were initially endowed by equal power, but the lower these vectors sank in the tight densities, the fiercer was their antagonism, and in 3D it became extreme. The confrontation between them has encompassed all spaces and dimensions on the subtle and physical plane. Over time, it reached Earth, which, along with other eons, was at the junction of two camps in the center of a huge grey zone. This means that within 2 weeks, they zero the newly formed karma, then reset our monads and reformat of their cores in compliance with virtualization's protocol. When committing a negative act and, consequently, a decrease in the vibrations and luminosity of the soul, karmic mutation does not occur. Instead, the program blocks and deactivates the corresponding segment of the monad. That is, it simulates the state that would occur with the formation of real karma. And to remove it, neither the supreme hierarchs but only our monads have to direct deal with us under the control of karma lords, at least until March 2025 and possibly longer, monitoring each of us individually. How it occurs practically. The ground team head shared his recent personal experience. In the morning of the last ops day at Elbrus, he decided to have a cup of coffee on the balcony of his hotel room. Snow fell overnight and the tiled floor was covered with ice, becoming very slippery. Light Warriors missed his footing and began to fall. A split second, and as they say in such cases, own whole life flew before his eyes. He realized that this was the end, flying headfirst into the concrete threshold and guaranteed to fracture cervical vertebrae. And then suddenly some unknown powerful force picked him up and brought back to an upright position. If someone had told him that such a thing could happen, he would never have believed it. But it happened to him personally. Then, his higher self explained that this was how his monadic karma had been removed. But the show went on.